Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. So far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti, and can you believe we've done 75 of these? This is going to be covering, this will be a 75th episode, and we've covered 525 animals thus far. Pretty crazy. Without further ado, let's go into it. The first animal of the week being the Galapagos tortoise, also known as the Galapagos giant tortoise, is a species of very large tortoise in the genus Chelonoidis, which is native to and was once widespread throughout the Galapagos archipelago. Fun fact, Galapagos is actually the Spanish word for tortoise. However, due to human hunting for meat and oil, habitat plans for agriculture, and introduction of non-native animals to the islands, these tortoises are now only found on 6 of the 21 islands in the Galapagos. The Galapagos tortoise is a remarkably adaptable species, which is radiated into 15 subspecies, 3 of which are now extinct. They inhabit a wide range of habitats such as humid forest, dry scrubland, marshes, grassland, alpine regions, coastlines, and even the slopes of active volcanoes. They have an equally diverse diet comprised of ferns, leaves, roots, bones, grasses, branches, guava, lichens, berries, melons, oranges, milkweed, poison apples, and water plants. On average, Galapagos tortoises reach around 3 to 3.5 feet in carapace length and 300 to 400 pounds for females, and 3.5 to 4.5 feet in carapace length, and 600 to 700 pounds for males. However, there is considerable size variation between the subspecies, which those found on Pazan Island reaching just 2 feet in length and 160 pounds in weight, while those on Santa Cruz Island can reach upwards of 5 feet in length and 900 pounds in weight, making them the largest species of tortoise on Earth. Shell size and shape varies between subspecies and populations. On islands with humid highlands, tortoises are larger, with dome shells and short necks. On islands with drier lowlands, the tortoises are smaller, with a saddleback shell and long necks. Mating may occur year-round, but tends to peak in the rainy season from February to June. Sorry, I'm getting over an illness. When males and females will gather in humid highlands of the islands, and the former tracking the latter by their scent, warding off any rival males by biting, or with mating displays during which time they extend their neck and stand as tall as they can to try and impress their mate. After mating, the female will dig a deep hole with her back legs, where she lays a clutch of 4 to 16 eggs inside before covering the nest over with mud, soil, and vegetation. She may lay up to 4 clutches in a season, and after an incubation of 4 to 8 months, the eggs will hatch. The hatchlings will then spend several days or weeks digging their way out of the nest before completely emerging and then living their lives independently. Galapagos giant tortoises reach sexual maturity around 20 to 25 years of age and may live up to 200 years. Next up is the North American river otter, also known as the northern river otter or simply the river otter. It is a semi-aquatic mammal in the family Mustelidae, which can be found throughout most of North America from the waters of the Rio Grande in Texas to northern Mexico up into Canada and Alaska, except for arid deserts in the treeless Arctic. Although they are commonly called a river otter, the North American river otter is also found in a wide variety of aquatic habitats such as lakes, rivers, swamps, coastlines, marshes, and estuaries. Here they live alone or in small familial groups and construct dens under fallen logs and abandoned burrows of other animals or in the riverbanks themselves. An entrance, which may be underwater or above ground, leads into a nest chamber full of leaves, grass, moss, bark, and hair. The bulk of the river otter's diet is comprised of fish and crustaceans. However, they are also known to eat snails, fruit, clams, insects, amphibians, turtles, water snakes, and even the occasional rail, waterfowl, squirrel, rabbit, vole, or muskrat. River otters are themselves preyed upon by wolves, cougars, bobcats, eagles, coyotes, large snapping turtles, alligators, and black, brown, and polar bears. Reaching around 3 to 4 feet in length and 11 to 30 pounds in weight, the river otter is a slender creature with a long, powerful tail, short legs, dexterous hands, long whiskers, and thick, waterproof brown coats that are lighter on the underside. Breeding occurs during the winter and spring, and there is a delayed implantation of 9 to 11 months, with an actual gestation taking around 60 days. In spring, mother river otters will typically give birth to 1 to 5 pups. These pups grow rapidly and emerge from the den around 2 months of age. However, they will typically remain with their parents till the following spring. Under ideal conditions, the North American river otter will reach sexual maturity around 2 to 3 years of age and may live upwards of 25 years. Next up is the Toko toucan, also known as the common toucan or giant toucan, is the largest and probably best known species of the toucan family. It is native throughout Bolivia, Peru, Argentina, Paraguay, French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, and Brazil, where they inhabit savannas, wetlands, open woodland, and agricultural areas. Toko toucans live in pairs or in small flocks and primarily feed upon berries, fruit, and seeds. They're also known to prey upon eggs, insects, frogs, small reptiles, and small birds. Toko toucans are themselves preyed upon by eagles, hawks, owls, boas, jaguars, and margays. Reach around 20 to 25 inches in length, 1 to 2 pounds in weight, and sporting a 40 to 60 inch wingspan, the Toko toucan has a striking plumage, which is mainly black on the body, with a white throat and chest, upper tail coverts, and red undertail coverts. What appears to be a blue iris is actually a thin blue skin around the eye, and the blue skin is then surrounded by another ring of bare orange skin. The most notable feature of this bird is, however, its huge yellow-orange bill, which reaches up to 9 inches in length. Although it looks heavy, the inside is largely hollow, making the bill relatively light. Their tongue is nearly as long as the bill and very flat. Toko toucans are monogamous and typically mate for life, with the breeding season occurring in the spring. During this time, the pair will construct a nest inside of a tree cavity, earth bank, or terrestrial termite nest. Here the female lays around 2 to 4 eggs, which are then incubated by both parents for around 17 to 18 days. The young are born helpless and fledge at 43 to 52 days after hatching. Under ideal conditions, a Toko toucan will reach sexual maturity around 3 to 4 years of age and may live upwards of 25 years. Next up is the powder blue tang, also known as the powder blue surgeonfish. It is native to the warm tropical waters of the Indian Ocean, where they live in and around coral reefs, where they are diurnal omnivores, which feed upon algae, seagrass, and tiny invertebrates. In cases where food is plentiful, these fish may feed in shoals, but in cases of scarcity, they compete individually for food, living a mostly solitary existence. Powder blue tangs are themselves occasionally preyed upon by sea snakes, diving birds, octopi, sharks, eels, groupers, and other large predatory bony fish. Average around 9 inches in length and a pound in weight, the powder blue tang has an oval-shaped body that is compressed laterally. Like other surgeonfishes, it swims with its pectoral fins, and the caudal fin has a crescent shape. The fish has a surgeon's scalpel, which is an erect part of the spine located at the base of the tail, which it uses in self-defense. The mouth is small and pointed in a beak-like manner, with tiny and sharp teeth for reaching narrow spaces of food. Its sides are blue, and its dorsal fin and the base of its caudal fin are yellow. The head is black, and the mouth, the throat area, and the anal and pelvic fins are white. The pectoral fins are transparent with yellow reflections. The intensity of its blue color can indicate whether the fish is healthy or not, and these fish reproduce by egg scattering, gathering together in large groups above the reef, where each female will release up to 40,000 eggs, which the males then swim through and fertilize. Under ideal conditions, a powder blue tang may live upwards of 10 years. Next up is the Amazonian giant centipede, also known as the Peruvian giant yellow-legged centipede. It is a species of centipede in the genus Scolopendra, which is native throughout South America and the southern Caribbean, where they can be found in Aruba, Brazil, Curacao, Colombia, Venezuela, and Trinidad. It is generally solitary and nocturnal species which dwells in tropical and subtropical rainforests as well as tropical dry forests, spending their days on the forest floor within leaf litter or under rocks. They are also known to regularly inhabit caverns and cave systems. It is a carnivore that is capable of catching, envenomating, and killing many animals, not only other invertebrates such as insects, millipedes, scorpions, and even tarantulas, but also small vertebrates including lizards, frogs, small snakes, sparrowsides, birds, mice, other rodents, and bats, even going as far as to learn specific techniques and tactics for catching particular prey. Its venom is very painful and potent, and is responsible for at least one confirmed human death. They are capable of reaching over a foot in length, which means the Amazonian giant centipede is the largest centipede on Earth. It sports 21 to 23 body segments and 40 to 44 legs. It can occur in a variety of colors, typically red, yellow, brown, or black, with yellow legs and dark stripes between the body segments. In order to reproduce, male centipedes deposit a protein parcel containing sperm called a spermatophore on the ground for a female to find. When the female comes across this, she will absorb it and use it to fertilize her eggs. Laying between 15 and 60 in a burrow in the soil, she guards the eggs until they hatch, regularly kicking them and caring for them to prevent fungus from growing on them. Once hatched, the mother will continue to care for them for approximately 3 months, often carrying them on her underside and wrapping herself around them to guard them. Under ideal conditions, the Amazonian giant centipede will reach sexual maturity around 2 years of age and may live upwards of 10 years. Next up is the North American porcupine, also known as the Canadian porcupine. It is a large quilled-covered rodent in the New World porcupine family, Erythizonidae, which is native throughout much of North America, from the Pacific coast to the Atlantic coast, and from as far north as Alaska and Canada to as far south as southern Mexico. Here they prefer coniferous and mixed forest areas, where they make their dens inside hollow trees or rocky outcrops. They're also known to dwell in grasslands, alpine regions, and swamps, as well as shrublands and even the tundra. They are primarily solitary, nocturnal, and omnivorous rodent, which feeds upon twigs, insects, roots, bones, stems, berries, leaves, nuts, tree sap, pine needles, tree bark, and other vegetation. Apologize for any background noise. There's a lot of pipes going on right now, because the water heating systems on full blast keep the pipes from freezing. Porcupines are themselves preyed upon, albeit rarely, by golden eagles, great horned owls, fishers, wolverines, coyotes, cougars, wolves, and bears. Reach around 2.5 to 4 feet in length and 7 to 40 pounds in weight, with males typically being heavier than females. North American porcupine is the largest of the New World porcupines and the second largest rodent in North America after the beaver. They have a stocky body, a small face, short legs, and a short, thick tail. They're typically dark brown or black in color with white highlights. The most distinguishing feature of the porcupine is its coat of 30,000 quills, which covers most of the body except for its underbelly, face, and feet. The quills are modified hairs that form sharp, barbed, hollow spines, which are used in defense and to insulate their bodies during winter. These quills are normally flattened against the body and are positioned so they are less easily dislodged. Contrary to popular belief, porcupines do not throw their quills, but when threatened, they contract their superficial muscles, which cause the quills to stand up and out from their bodies, which makes them easier to detach from the body, especially if the tail is swung towards an attacker. The barbs at the end of the spines lodge in the flesh of a victim and are difficult and painful to remove. Mating occurs in the fall, and after a 202-day pregnancy, mother porcupine will give birth to one pup, which will stay with their mother for 4 to 5 months. Under ideal conditions, the North American porcupine will live up to 30 years. And our extinct animal week is Gallimimus, which is a genus of theropod dinosaur that lived throughout what is Mongolia during the Campanian to Maastrichtian stages of the late Cretaceous period, some 75 to 70 million years ago. The first remains of Gallimimus, consisting of 3 partial skeletons of varying stages of growth, were discovered from 1963 to 1965 by Polish-Mongolian expeditions in the Gobi Desert of Mongolia, led by paleontologist Zofia Kalan-Jarowaska. These skeletons, along with a 4th specimen unearthed in 1967 by a Mongolian-only expedition, were then later mounted for display at in Warsaw, Poland by the USSR Academy of Sciences in 1968. However, it wouldn't be until 1972 that paleontologists Halska Olmoska, Iwa Ronewisk, and Rychin Barsbold would officially describe and name the new genus and species Gallimimus bullatu. The generic name means chicken mimic, referring to the similarities between its neck vertebrae and those of galliforms, and the specific name is derived from bulla, a golden capsule worn by Roman youth, in reference to the bulbous structure at the base of the skull of Gallimimus. At the time it was named, fossils of Gallimimus represent the most complete and best preserved ornithomimid material yet discovered, And since then, several more specimens have been unearthed, and the genus remains one of the best known members of its group to this day. Reaching roughly 20 feet in length, 5.5 to 6.5 feet tall at the shoulder, and 900 to 1,000 pounds in weight. Gallimimus is the largest known member of the family Ornithomimidae, and like its relatives, it would have had feathers. Its head was small and light with large eyes that faced to the sides. The snout was long, broad, rounded, and tipped with a toothless, keratinous beak. The neck was proportionally long in relation to the trunk, and the hands were disproportionately shortest of any ornithomimosaur, and with each hand having 3 digits that had each a curved claw. The forelimbs were weak compared to the strong hind limbs, and it was a fleet and agile animal capable of running at speeds of 30 to 40 miles per hour. In life, Gallimimus would have lived in decently sized flocks, most likely occupying the niche of opportunistic omnivore, feeding upon various plants, fungi, insects, and other arthropods, carrion, and small vertebrates. However, it should be noted that there is no universally scientifically agreement upon what Gallimimus and other ornithomimids actually ate. As always, take care of my guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Have a wonderful day.